we have been learning so many things from Mr. Navroze Contractor. Now, he's going to share some of his prints with us, and we're going to learn how he does photography. Let's go over to Mr. Navroze Contractor.
If you notice one other thing in my photographs, is lots of things are happening in a picture, at the same time. Yeah, this is one of my jazz pictures. This is an Indian group. So when you shoot this music, it is very, very low light. You have to be really very steady with your hands, and even at very high ISO speeds, the light is very low generally. Everybody likes to be photographed. I love photographing children because they are, first of all, they are very difficult to photograph, and they are the last of the innocence in your, life that you will meet them. This is a broom maker's family. They take about, this kind of a broom, they take about 8 to 9 minutes. 4 people put together make one broom. And then the middleman comes and buys it for 5 rupees or 6 rupees. And by the time it reaches us, it is 80 rupees or 90 rupees. This is, of course, what you are talking about, movement and blur and all that. So making filter coffee, yeah. So this is another one with movement and blur. And one of the times when there was a water shortage in Tamil Nadu, which this year has been very severe. This is in a dargah, and I am very close to them. I am in a crowd, and I am surrounded by only women. Always very fascinated by tea shops, because the amount of hours that men in India waste on tea shops is just unbelievable. If 1/10 of that could be put to use, we would be somewhere else. And it is pan-India. Everywhere it's the same thing. Generally, I try to go out very early in the morning. I think that for me, the light becomes very, very harsh and rough, especially on East Coast. By 7:30 today, we were almost impossible to shoot on the beach, So, and you probably noticed that I like blacks very much, So that it is, said that blacks are the negative space and whites are the positive spaces. But you can play with blacks and more negative or more positive, or whichever way you'd like to take it. So now these are the same activity. I'll show you. This is one picture. Making the Muda chairs, So I'm on a slightly different angle, and then I come to the same activity but from another angle. If you go very close, sometimes in such a situation, then you lose the context, So it is better to be little, keep a little distance, so you have many things in the picture, Very favorite sites that I like to see in India. And Tamil Nadu in the mornings is fantastic because just thousands and thousands of girls go to school. This is in Mysore, just beyond Mysore. So this, you notice that my images are very, very reliant on where the light comes from and what you can see and what you can't see, you know. So in everywhere I see the theater of light with what is actually happening. Of course, I also, when you are traveling in Ladakh for a very long time, you are also shooting landscapes, you know. So see, in this only the kettle is absolutely steady and the rest of it is not. This is also in Bailakuppe. So light is coming from one side, you know, the other places are dark. And this kind of a picture in a monastery, I feel, requires you to have sharp focus, very calm, you know, and because the atmosphere is like that over there. It's less, there's no hullabaloo, there's a sense of peace. So sometimes when you are talking about color and enhancing the color, no? So sometimes what happens is that if a subject is sitting too much against the light, like this guy is sitting, if you notice that I'm rarely shooting with the light behind me. My pictures are never flat, so I'm always challenging light that I want to see, you know. So if I want to take a picture of mine, if I ask you to take a picture of mine, I would come and stand somewhere here and I would ask you to take a picture because this light is at the back, you know. So that is the time when you might have to enhance the color to make the color look like what they are wearing. So that much, even when we are doing analog photography and all that, we had to do that kind of thing. Now one more thing that you showed about movement and context. So this is complete movement. So it's almost like abstract, you know. So from the pictures of the streets that you saw and this thing that you see is completely different. No? The whole mood and everything becomes totally different. You know, automatically you feel calm. This is a picture where there are two pictures of the same activity. One is slightly longer shot and one is a closer shot. You see? So it takes, because what they are doing in so much detail, so all these monks get together and this is all powders and they put it in a pen which is hollow and they slowly tap the pen to make the whole tanka painting happen. And when it is finished, they destroy it, immediately rub it off, yeah. So then the next day you start again. So it's like a meditating practice, you know, and it is beautiful when the whole thing is complete. Then they keep it there for themselves to see a little bit and all that, and then they will, you know, and then you are inside here, but in the Himalayas when you go, there are extreme long shots also that you see. So I am on the other side of the mountain, and they are on across the valley, and you know, whether you go to a monastery or you go to a school or you go to a street, kids are kids. They are all enjoying themselves, you know. So the same picture of that monk was, so actually it's like this, the longer shot.
So Navroze, thanks a ton. It's been a pleasure for all of us to be able to look at these really amazing prints, both in terms of the material quality, the printing, and of course the content and what you have done with the camera and brought these pictures. And the questions that we've had today from the students and your sharing of your experience and your comment and your wisdom, I hope that all of us who are here today and as all of us who are a part of this MOOC anywhere in the world, anywhere in India, can learn from this interaction. And we welcome your questions. Your questions are always welcome. So let's keep asking questions. Let's continue to be curious. Let's continue to be reflective. and let's continue to think about how our pictures can make a difference to somebody out there. I would like Navroze to have the last word on it. So, Navroze.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me here. And all of you asked very intelligent questions, I must say, because I was thinking that if I'm going to go into a photography course, that what generally happens is people ask you about exposure and f-stop and all that, but you asked me conceptual questions, and you asked me there are certain things that disturb you when you shoot and that you want to better yourself in that, or whatever the confusions that you had in your mind. So I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you, all of you. We hope that you've enjoyed this interaction with Mr. Navroze Contractor. He has shared a lifetime of experience and learning with the students. And not only have they benefited, but we too have benefited by listening into the conversation. Seek and you shall find. It is up to us how far and deep we wish to go in our learning journey. Mr. Navroze Contractor has lived a full life, and even after the age of 80, he still continues to learn and constantly evolve his art and craft. I urge each one of you to reflect, think, ask questions, and continue to think about the relationship between photography and life. We wish you best in your learning journey.